Harry Potter and the Crooked Teacup Hole. Harry was trying to finish his transfiguration homework. The room was quiet, except for the tiny scratches of his quill on the parchment. He was supposed to turn a teacup into a tiny tortoise, but it just sat there, glaring at him with a ceramic eye. "This is hopeless," Harry sighed, running a hand through his hair. Suddenly, a flash of white caught his eye. A large, fluffy white rabbit with a waistcoat and a golden pocket watch darted past the open window. "I'm late. Oh, I'm dreadfully late," squeaked the rabbit. Harry, ever curious, jumped up from his seat and peered out. The rabbit wasn't running on the ground. It was diving straight into a swirling shadow beneath a large old oak tree on the lawn. Harry grabbed his wand, slipped it into his robe pocket, and raced down the stairs. A rabbit with a timepiece? That was more interesting than a stubborn teacup. He reached the oak tree just as the shadow began to shrink. He knelt down, hesitated for a moment, and then, without quite knowing why, Harry tumbled headfirst into the deepening, swirling darkness. He felt a dizzying drop, the air rushing past him in a cold blur, and the smell of old moss and very strong tea. Whoosh! Harry landed with a soft thump on a checkered floor. He stood up, dusting off his robes. The air here vibrated with loud, nonsensical music. Before him was a forest of gigantic toadstools, painted in stripes and polka dots. A tiny creature with bright green skin and a hat made from a mushroom cap popped up from behind a striped toadstool. He was no bigger than a house elf, but he had a very serious frown. "Well, well, another one who didn't read the signs," he huffed. "Signs?" Harry asked. "I'm looking for a white rabbit. I'm Harry, by the way." The little creature hopped closer. "I'm Spriggan." And the sign said, "Do not enter without a proper invitation, a suitable rhyme, and a freshly baked scone." "A rhyme and a scone?" Harry frowned. "This is a bit complicated. Where am I?" Spriggan threw his tiny hands up. "The Fiddle-Faddle Woods, of course. You're in Wonderland, Mr. Harry, by the way, and you've missed the tea party." Harry felt for his wand. It was still there. "Right," he said, taking a breath. "If I've missed the tea party, can you at least tell me where the rabbit went? The one with the watch." Spriggan tilted his mushroom cap thoughtfully. "Ah, him," Spriggan whispered, pointing a finger towards a narrow path that seemed to be made of playing cards. "He's gone to see the Queen of Hearts, but I wouldn't recommend it. She hates wizards, says their hats are too floppy." Harry grinned. "Floppy hats? Sounds like she's never seen Professor McGonagall's." He took a step towards the card path, his curiosity winning over caution. "Lead the way, Spriggan. Let's find that rabbit, and maybe, just maybe, find some better tea." The card path was loud. Every time Harry stepped on a queen of clubs, she would shout, "Off with your shoe!" When he stepped on a three of spades, it would whisper, "Psst, your hat looks silly." Spriggan covered his mushroom ears. "See, everything here is rude and confusing. The cards have feelings, mostly bad ones, and they're always changing the directions. The queen loves chaos." They followed a bend in the path and stopped abruptly. Ahead, a large, ornate clock was melting onto a table set for tea. A woman with a perpetual scowl and a pair of enormous, talking spectacles was trying to stir a teapot with a broken broom handle. "Oh, for the love of all that is timely," she shrieked, looking at the melting clock. "It's always 6 minutes past 3. I can't be late for the unbirthday party. Do you two have a time turner?" "We're not time travelers," Harry explained. "I'm looking for a white rabbit. Why is your clock melting?" The woman, who introduced herself as Miss Kronos, waved the broom handle dismissively. The Queen of Hearts enchanted it. Everything here is either too early or dreadfully late. I'm supposed to tell the future, but I can only see the next 6 minutes, Miss Kronos groaned. Wait, I see, a hat. A very floppy hat. That's me, probably, said Harry. The rabbit, where did he go? Miss Kronos pointed with the broom. Through the gate of spades, but hurry. I see an unfortunate encounter with a very cross flamingo in exactly 4 minutes. Harry and Spriggan dashed away. The gate of spades was an archway, guarded by 2 suits of armor, made entirely of black playing cards. They were holding large pink croquet flamingos like clubs. Halt! Boomed the first guard. No one enters the Queen's court without a proper humble bow of gratitude and a permission slip signed by the royal gardener. The second guard wiggled his flamingo menacingly. Harry quickly thought, "Excuse me, but I believe the royal gardener is expecting me to deliver a very urgent message about a grumbling Grindylow in the moat." He pulled out his wand. It was time for a quick distraction. With a flick and a whispered "O pugno," the 2 flamingo clubs suddenly came alive. They flapped their wings and honked loudly, struggling to get free from the card guards' grips. The guards shouted in surprise. "Follow me," Harry shouted to Spriggan, and they raced past the chaos. They burst into a courtyard where the White Rabbit was standing nervously before the towering Queen of Hearts, who was sitting on a throne of red roses. The rabbit spotted Harry. "You're late, Mr. Potter," he squeaked. "The Queen needs you to turn her teacup into a tiny tortoise. It's the only way to stop the Queen's royal tantrum." Harry smiled, taking a breath. "Right, let's try that spell again."